So the first little wee mini book I'm going to do is a mini book. So I've got here one of the journal cards from Susan's kit. I've been through and I've inked around all of the items, the printables, so that I don't need to do that on camera. I've also cut down my papers. For this one, I'm using a selection of tea or coffee dyed paper. Can't remember which it is. When you're cutting the paper, make sure that you are making it slightly smaller than what you're going to put it in, because you don't want the paper to stick out from the sides. Now what we're going to do is put a gusset or a spine into this. So that's the first thing we'll do. I'll just shift some of these things out of the way. Grab my scoring board. Now I use mine sideways when I'm filming, just because I've got short arms and it's a long way to reach, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So with this one, I'm having, this is the front and this area will be the back. So I've lined it up into the corner of my scoring board, and I'm going to score lines at 2 1/4 and 2 1/2. That'll give me a 1/4 inch spine. So 2 1/4 and 2 1/2. You can move that out of the way now. So I'll fold this over, and I'm just making sure that the sides line up, reinforcing the spine. Then fold the other side up. Finger press first, and then again reinforce that spine. So then that's given me that 1/4 inch spine. So I've got one dragonfly on the front and one on the back. Right, so now my papers. Now I'm just going to make this exactly the same way that I would make a journal, though slightly a shorter version of it. So normally I would combine these into probably 2 signatures, but I'm just going to put them all these pages, and there's 10 pages here. I'm going to put them all into one signature and stitch them together. Now I'm not going to give you measurements, because here in New Zealand we print onto A4 paper, and so my sizes will end up slightly different to those who are printing on US paper. I think it's 8.5 by 11 inches. So rather than give you sort of sizes to cut everything, I'm just going to tell you more about the gaps. So I have left about a 1/8 inch or 1/8 of an inch gap on all sides, so that there should be enough hangover of the cover so that the pages don't stick out. So I'm just going to fold the top page or the centre page to give me my centre line, because I'm not going to create a template for the holes. I'm just going to do one in the centre, and then one either end. So I think that's roughly 5 and 5. So I will use my little wee foam pad here, and using a centre finder ruler, which is of course tucked under everything else over there, and I am just going to kind of eyeball it. So there we go, I've lined up so I know that that's the centre of my page. So that's going to go right there, my first hole, and then I'll bring it in 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. So now, to make that easier, I'm going to take that top page and line up all these other pages, and then just go press through them through exactly the same hole to make it nice and easy. And then one more time for my cover, because these are supposed to be something nice and simple, and so long as the holes line up, then you won't have any trouble with sewing these in. So I've got roughly that 1/8 of the inch there. It's lined up in the middle of the spine. I'm happy with that. So again, poke through, 2 and 3. So that way I know that everything is going to line up. Safety first, put that down. So I have my needle here, and I'm using some hemp twine that I got, or hemp cord rather, 20 pound. I picked this up when I was in the States about 5.5, nearly 6 years ago. But you can use whatever you like. You can use embroidery thread. You could even make the holes even larger and use ribbon if that's what you wanted. So now when measuring, I normally do 3 times the length of here for the binding, plus a little bit extra to allow for the tails. But with this one, I also want to use the tails for the binding or for the closure. So I'm going to do enough for one time round the cover, and again a bit extra for bow, so we'll probably make it 2. So that's 3 times the width or height of the page, and then 2 times the full length of the cover for our binding, and then trim, and then press or thread through the eye of a big needle. It's not going to thread too far through, but that will do. Okay, so we've now got our threaded needle. So because I want the ties to start from the outside and then be able to wrap around, I'm going to start from here. So sewing through, and these are, right, there we go. So we're going through there. Alright, that's what we needed to do. Okay, now yes, I know that everything is all tangled around, so we will put that there, straighten it all up, go through the papers, through there, take that all in. We're going to go all the way up to the top. I might make that a wee bit longer actually before I pull it too tight. There we go, I like that length. Then bring it back through to here and back through that centre. And you'll find the second time through, because you've already got one thread in there, it will always be a bit long. Okay, so I didn't need quite that much. That's okay. So I will tie this in here. And do a double knot. Yes, I know I've still got that needle attached. And so now I will remove that and then fold it in half. And now if I wanted to, and I will probably do it, once it's all squashed and holding in place, I will probably go and just trim this edge so that they are all the papers inside are the same length. And then with this leftover thread we can tie a wee bow at the side. And then trim off this other thread. I'll make that about there. So, oh no, that wasn't too much, so that was probably one of the extra bits. So there is a little booklet with, so there's 10 pages, so that's 20, about 40 sheets in it.